So actor Nick Offerman was at one of these Circle Jerk award ceremonies that Hollywood is in the midst of throwing. As we know, they're in the midst of their whole award ceremony season, and something that nobody really gives a crap about. But Nick Offerman thought that he would get on stage when he accepted his award for his performance in The Last of Us, and just decided to spout a bunch of blunt, very blunt words against anybody who had a problem with the gay episode that was in the show. They decided to basically dedicate an entire episode towards a gay romance story. And as I'm sure you can imagine, there were a lot of people who were not happy about that because, first of all, it really had nothing to do with the rest of the show. And they kind of took a very small thing that was in the game and they blew it up out of proportion in order to literally just use an episode to push a gay romance story. So with all of that being said, Nick Offerman is here to have a complete meltdown on stage and give his thoughts towards the people who were critical about that episode. So Nick Offerman whines about The Last of Us and homophobic hate. So let's get into this and see what he has to say here. Actor Nick Offerman knocked the backlash over his episode in the HBO hit series The Last of Us, in which he played a survivor falling in love with another man during the apocalypse. So stunning, so brave. As Breitbart News reported, The Last of Us, based on the video game, engendered some backlash over a one-off episode that featured actors like Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett in a romantic relationship as two survivalists. So let's go ahead and check out this video here of him talking about this, and we'll go from there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Film Independent. I'm astonished to be in this category, which is bananas. Congrats to all of you. This is crazy. Thanks to HBO for having the guts to participate in this storytelling tradition that is truly independent. Stories with guts that won homophobic.
Stories with guts. Does he not realize that the reason why he is getting this award most likely is because he played a gay guy? Like there's no guts here. Like, this isn't like some sort of thing where, you know, the entire establishment is going to come down on his head for doing this. Like this whole reality that they are doing very dangerous things by playing gay characters in shows is just ridiculous, and there's no merit to it whatsoever. But, you know, let's continue on to hear what he has to say towards the people out there who had a problem with that episode.
Stories with guts that when homophobic hate comes my way and says, why did you have to make it a gay story? We say, because you ask questions like that, it's not a gay story, it's a love story, you asshole.
People would have just as much of a problem with this if it was just a normal straight romance. Like, there's no reason for an episode to exist like that. They wouldn't do that, though. They wouldn't do an entire episode that had no other significance to the rest of the show where they just had a straight romance. Like, people would be like, why is this here? Why does this episode exist? It literally adds nothing to the rest of the show. But because it is a gay romance, then suddenly it is amazing, it is stunning, it takes guts to make it, it's incredible, and everything else is just absolutely just cringe and ridiculous, because this is why this episode exists.
So more of that. Neil Druckmann, Craig Mazin wrote this thing.
And it takes so much guts to stand up there with, you know, an entire audience of people clapping, you know what I mean? It takes a lot of guts to stand up there and say that, Nick Offerman. Really stunning and brave of you, man. The Last of Us creator Craig Mazin previously knocked critics of the episode as homophobes. Some people don't like episode 3 because, you know, gay stuff. And then they kind of retroactively try and come up with a different and inoffensive reason why, Mazin said. But one of the complaints I saw was, oh, it's just a filler episode. It doesn't advance the story. And I was like, I think this episode advances the story more than any other episode we have, because it's not a plot. It's character. It's the letter Bill leaves behind to Joel that powers the rest of the show. But again, that brings me back to my original point, is that they wouldn't write an episode like this. This type of episode would not exist if it was just a straight couple or straight romance. Like there's no reason for them to write an episode like that, and that is the whole point of the point that we were trying to make. So if you stopped watching the show or you had a problem with this episode, then you are a homophobic hater, according to Nick Offerman, which I guess that's what I am, according to Nick, because I literally stopped watching the episode about halfway through, and I haven't watched any more of the show after that. So anyway, with all that being said, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all in another video very soon.